Hey everybody, how's it going? So in my first video over the chicken fence, I mentioned I'm no longer allowed to have a rooster within city limits according to the new ordinance that was passed in March. And I am going to try to grandfather in Robert and the other rooster and possibly my neighbor's rooster as well, because we live in a little area that is mainly commercial and not so much residential. So I'm going to try to go to my city commissioner and go to court on December the 2nd in order to, see if I can keep the rooster or not, because we've been through a lot. First, how did I get little Robert and the other rooster? I went to Tractor Supply and I bought what was supposed to be pullets, meaning they were supposed to be all hens. And come to find out, after 6 months of raising them, there was Robert and Richard. And with all the pit bull attacks that was going on, and once everything was supposedly settled down, Richard started attacking Robert. And I'm not going to mention what happened to Richard, but I decided to keep Robert. And I babied him, and I did all of that stuff. I built up his confidence, kept him in the barn, and everything. And he decided to mate with Rebecca, and she hatched out a whole bunch of babies. And majority of them decided to be roosters. And some guy one day, I posted a Facebook thing on there, but some guy just drove by and he says, well, what are you going to do with all these roosters? I said, you can have them if you want to. So he got rid of all of them except for Robert. I decided to keep him, and I thought he got all of them except the new rooster. Looked like a hen, but ended up being a rooster after all. He tricked us. All of a sudden, when all the other roosters are gone, that's when he sprouts back home and sprouts those tail feathers, and he's, oh! So, for the last year and a half, I have had 2 roosters. The red one never crows. He is mainly walking with the flock. And Robert is the one that is pretty much the dominant one. And he does crow at times now. But only if there are any type of predators coming into the area. And every once in a while, if he hears one of the other neighbors' roosters crow, he will decide to do that. No problems. All of my neighbors that live on that street, they have roosters and chickens and sheep. Another guy has cows, 6 acres of land, and we live right across from the Tyson chicken plant. Literally, chickens are darted across every day. Never been a problem. Now, 8 months after this new city ordinance that was passed, supposedly now there's a problem, because there's a lady on the north end of town, or somebody on the north end of town, saying, well, animal control is not doing their job. And animal control is not doing this. Now, I agree to a certain degree. They really wasn't. Because why did it take 8 months for you to come and say something to me? Because I read the ordinances differently than what was actually stated at the meeting. So it's very important for anybody living in any area, any state, or anywhere to go to your town meetings. I have always been a firm believer in that. And just because your town council says that it's only going to pertain to a certain area, we all need to start showing up and start voicing our opinions about stuff, because this is what got me into the mess to begin with, is because the ordinance said that it was only going to be for a particular section, but they passed it for the whole city. And if you watch my lives, you will see that I'm pretty much surrounded by trees, land. One person owns 6 acres over here. There's a bunch of woods over there. There's quite a few other things over there that's commercial. And then there's a few houses in the back and a church that is no longer operational. So I do know that nobody in my area complained, and now they want to either A, rehome the rooster, or B, and we ain't doing plan B. And so far that everybody that I've talked to wanted to do plan B. And I'm just kind of like, doesn't anybody just want a rooster in order to, you know, have, because they are pretty fun. Now, they can be kind of vicious at times. I gotta admit, I had to put Robert in his place quite a few times. But he is a very important part of my homestead now. And I just don't want to give him up. I know, it sounds ridiculous, but me and this chicken rooster has survived 8 different pit bull attacks. 8. We got 4. I had 4 chickens at first. It was Sally, LaWanda, Jennifer, and Bernice. And the pit bull came over, took them gone. Boom. And I wasn't able to do anything about it. Supposedly the guy was going to put up a gate and do this, do that, put a shot collar on the dogs because they kept on digging holes, doing all this other stuff. And I know I'm about to run out of time on this video, so there's going to be another part to it. But all along the way, the man always lied on the things that he was doing to make sure his dogs stayed in his yard. And went to the point of saying that my chickens went into his yard and never showed any proof or any substance in court to show that my chickens antagonized his pit bull. So, I'm going to upload this one and we're going to do a part 2.